Everybody, welcome back to Imperfectly Perfect. Keep watching. You guys don't want to miss this week's episode. If you only see last week's video, go back and watch that too. Stay tuned.
Hey. Whoa.
So a couple of days ago, I got led to read Jeremiah chapter 46. And in that chapter, I think that's the right chapter. If it's not, I'm going to put the right one because I don't remember off the top of my head right now. But we're going to say 46 for right now. But I read chapter 46, and it was basically talking about how the Egyptians and the Israelites were falling under captivity to the Babylonians at the time. And when we hear about the Israelites, we go way back to the book of Exodus. And, you heard the story of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, and they were supposed to be going to the promised land. And fast forward, we're in this place of them being in captivity. So me, being the little nerd that I am, I was just like, God, why did that happen? Like, they're supposed to be living it up in the land of milk and honey. Why did that happen to them? Like, how did we get here? And in the Bible, it looks like it just happened overnight. But obviously, there's like time lapses that all of this is happening. So as I was researching, I actually found out that not the Babylonians, the Israelites were under a curse for 70 years. And it literally kicked them out of the promised land into them being like basically captives for 70 years. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, you promised these people a land flowing of milk and honey. You promised these people freedom. How did they get there? And one thing that I ended up learning about the promise of them going to the land of milk and honey, the promised land per se, was that it wasn't an unconditional promise. It was indeed conditional. And with an unconditional promise, when we think of those, if you hear in the Bible, like, you'll hear people say, like, God will never leave us nor forsake us. And that's a promise you can find in the Bible. And that promise is unconditional because despite what we do, and me, myself, I can tell you because I'm such a hard-headed Christian and I just be doing stuff, I can for sure tell you that God will never leave you nor forsake you in anything that you do, anything that goes on in your sin. He doesn't go anywhere. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, a lot of the times, he saves us when we don't need to be saved. So that promise there is unconditional. But with this promise, it was conditional for the Israelites because he gave them a list of instructions that they needed to follow so that they can remain in the land, so they can maintain the land and all of that, but they weren't following it. And one of the things was like idolatry, which is serving other gods. God told them plenty of times, like, look, y'all serve me and nobody else, you serve me. I am your God. And they're like, okay. And then 5 seconds later, they making statues out of gold and dancing around and all that stuff. And God's just sitting there like, okay, y'all think I'm playing, huh? So God had to show them what was up for real. And fast forward, because of them not listening and them just doing what they want to do and literally taking God for granted in that time, it put them 70 years back because they could have been chilling. For 70 years, they could have been chilling in this land had they been doing what they were supposed to do. But, God had to show them and teach them a lesson and basically show them like, hey, I have these rules set for a reason. I have these boundaries to keep you for a reason. And I say this to say, a lot of the times when we're going through processes of when we ask God for something, it can be a car. For example, let's just say a car. I'm praying and I ask God for a car. And I'm like, yeah, God, you promised me you was going to get me this car and da-da-da. Yeah. But lo and behold, like, one, there's so many things that I need for a car. I need to be organized. You know what I'm saying? I need to be able to pay the bills towards my car. I can't even keep my money. So how am I going to put that towards the car? So when it comes to that, it's like sometimes God gives you instructions to follow to bring order so you can maintain what you have or whatever it is you're asking for. People are praying for relationships nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, y'all want these for example, and no offense to Summer Walker, because I love the album, but you have all these women doing the Sierra prayer, but don't nobody want to acknowledge that you're broken and you're hurt and you're trying to jump into a healthy relationship with somebody else, knowing you got a whole lot of baggage you got to sit there and go through and correct and organize and get fixed. So it's stuff like that is just like, sometimes it feels like it's taking too long to get to the next step. It feels like it's taking too long to get to the next door, because God needs us to sit down, and sometimes he needs us to turn away from certain sins that we're doing. He's not going to take us to level A if we're still acting childish down here in like level B, you know? And there's sometimes things that like we have to get in order. Like for myself, organization is like a huge thing that I struggle with. And I'm gonna be straight up. Everybody who knows me, I like am sporadic when it comes to work and procrastinating and different things like that. And it's organization is something I try my hardest at, because it's not my number one thing. And I know for a fact, if I can't learn order and organization now, I'm never gonna get to where I desire to go and where I'm asking God to take me, because I can't get stuff in order. And that's the truth. And that's with anything that we're asking God for. So I say in this time, because like it gets frustrating waiting for stuff that you're praying for or waiting for stuff to happen, and it's just feeling like, oh dang, this ain't happening. And I'm being honest, because I be feeling like that too. I'm like, dang, like when is this gonna happen? When is this gonna, like, when am I gonna walk to this? When am I gonna do that? And literally God's just like, look in front of you. What do you have going on right now? You know, like, what are you doing? I told you don't go down that street, and you still going down there. You think I'm gonna let you go over here and you can't even listen right here? So y'all take that into consideration. Look at the things that you have going on around you and just think, how can I get better where I'm at right now? And if you got some little sins going on, maybe y'all need to put them up, you know, because I'm doing the same thing. We all gotta work together and work it out, because you know stuff happens, and God is a very gracious God. But one thing I know for sure, and me being hard-headed, I'm trying to tell y'all, if you know you're not supposed to do something and you still doing it and thinking you playing God, you playing yourself. I'm gonna just save you the trouble, because I do it a lot. I do it a lot. There's no point. So that's my spiel. Y'all tune in for next week and the things we have coming up. It's gonna be bomb. Getting some, like I said, we're organizing, so got some things coming, and we're gonna see how it goes. So turn up, not too much. I'm pretty sure this is gonna come out on Sunday, so happy Sunday. Imperfectly perfect.